I became what they smiled at, not because I wanted to lie, but because being accepted felt safer than being real. Their eyes lit up when I performed. They clapped for the version of me that didn't hurt, didn't speak, and never asked to be seen. I smiled through it, the mask fit well, but the longer I wore it, the less I remembered how my own face used to feel. Each cheer became a chain. I danced for their comfort, but the more they clapped, the less I could breathe. The mirror didn't lie. Behind the mask was silence, and behind silence was someone, begging not to vanish. I turned back to them, even as the cracks grew louder. I chose applause again, and left myself behind. I stayed perfectly still, not peaceful, just numb. If I moved, the real me might speak, and I didn't think they'd listen. I lifted my hand to wave, but even that felt fake. I couldn't remember who I was. Without their permission, the mask started to glitch, like my mind knew I wasn't whole. Pieces of me fell off quietly, and no one noticed. Something invisible held me back. Not chains, expectations. I couldn't scream, so I shook. Quiet panic is still panic. I bent not from pain, but from trying too hard to stand straight. Pretending costs more than pain. It drains identity. I dropped to my knees, not from weakness, but from finally admitting I was never okay. I couldn't hold still anymore. My hands remembered what I forgot. That silence shakes, even when it's mastered. The mask cracked slowly. It wasn't dramatic. It just couldn't hold everything I wasn't allowed to say. Even as I crumbled, I forced the corners of my lips up. That smile wasn't pride. It was desperation. The breaking wasn't a moment. It was a quiet snap where I stopped lying to myself. Fell off quietly. No one gasped. They never loved the real me, only who I played. I sat in the quiet, but it wasn't lonely. For the first time, I heard my own breath without shame. He rose from behind me, not to hurt me, but to remind me what I abandoned to survive. He circled me like memory, matching my every flinch. We were never strangers, just separated by shame. I stood to meet him, not to fight, but to finally admit we were the same. We stepped toward each other, one step per truth I denied. It wasn't fear, it was remembering. He didn't disappear, he came home, and I became whole, not by killing him, but by becoming him. I stood alone, but not empty. I wasn't who they loved, I was who I hid. I walked without applause, no stage, no script, just one step that finally felt like mine. Their silence didn't hurt anymore. I wasn't performing now, I was returning to the sound of myself. It showed me no lies, just the unmasked version I used to fear and now wanted to know. This time I didn't flinch, I didn't turn away. I saw myself fully and didn't apologize. There was no crown, no reward, just stillness and the truth that I was finally free. I wasn't walking away, I was walking toward the one they never got to meet, me.